Good morning and welcome to our morning drivecast. Whiskey. What is whiskey? Whiskey by law is any grain. For years, understanding was the five main grains: wheat, barley, oat, spelt, etc. Similar to beer, which is actually beer in Germany, which is 4 grains. Today we find distillers distilling with all different types of grains, from quinoa to whatnot, as long as it's called a grain. In the U.S., it's definitely recognized as a whiskey. It's a great question if you're going to ask about it. In Europe, I don't know. Whiskey, the basic breakdown is, you take it, you got to get the sugar released. Every grain has a different process. For example, wheat or barley, you have to put underneath, manure or something to warm it up, which tricks it to think it's growing, which breaks out of its shell, and that makes you your wonderful tipple drink. Corn is a little easier. You grind it up into grist, into pieces. You then go ahead and you bring it up to a temperature of about under 163, which then helps release the sugars after 2-3 hours, and then you chuck in your yeast once it cools down to about 70 degrees. Same for the other spirits. You want to put in the yeast at under 70. If you put in over 70, it's going to have a very strange taste. It's just like they call it sweating, similar to a person that sweats an awful lot. They don't have such a great smell. I don't need people, I can't tell you more than that. The next interesting thing to keep in mind is the distilling. Once it's fermented, it can be anywhere from 2 days to a week. There's something called turbo yeast, which does it really quickly. Again, it's like a very fast runner. It's very sweaty. It does not make a terribly delicious spirit. You do the distilling. The distilling process is really simple. You gotta divide the alcohol, which evaporates at a higher temperature, than the water, which stays down in the pots, in the still. Again, there's multiple different ways, and as I'm sure you know from your Shabbos, from Shabbat, there's different types of crock pots, which have different types, or your turkey on Thanksgiving, different ways of cooking for the same results will give different tastes. Very important factor, and that's why you'll hear all about different types of whiskey stills. Obviously, if water comes out, it gives it more of a taste. After that, we move on to the barrel, and from there, we have another drivecast on its way. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to tomorrow.